So I'm gonna give my opinion. I'm not gonna go too deep into this because I really don't want to talk about Charlie Kirk anymore. But of course, nobody should die because of opposing political views. Political violence is wrong, in my opinion. And sometimes I'm afraid to say that because I do feel like people are going to look at me saying that and think that I must have supported Charlie Kirk, that I thought he was a good person. Absolutely fucking not. Hey everyone, so I am going to be reacting to this video by Arielle Scarcella, um, called "The Left versus Right Hate is Killing Us. It Must Stop." I think a video like this coming from Arielle Scarcella is pretty hilarious considering she constantly makes videos shitting on the left. So I'm interested in hearing what she has to say.
Tragedy like this happens, most people focus on the what ifs, the reasons why, and the what nows. And I think, and while those are all very important ideas, I think it's actually time we start shifting our focus as a society to what can this teach us. Charlie Kirk passed away early this afternoon after being.
So for those of you who don't know, right-wing influencer, I guess, called Charlie Kirk, got shot on the 10th of September. He was, I think, debating college students at a Utah university, and I did see the video of him being shot, and it was pretty brutal. And so it definitely was sad for me to watch. Not because I liked Charlie Kirk, I think he was a pretty bad person, but being killed that way must have been brutal. He was dead in like 2 seconds, and I believe his kids were there. I'm not entirely sure, but I do believe that his children were there and they saw it, so that must have been pretty traumatizing for them.
Shot during one of his Turning Point rallies in Utah at a college campus. I didn't know Charlie personally. I do know that during his short time lived on this earth in that body, that he changed many people's opinions, changed many people's lives, and very possibly away from the.
I'm sure he did, but were those good changes? Because from what I'm hearing, Charlie Kirk was a bigot who didn't believe in empathy. He had very little empathy for the victims of school shootings. He was trying to get rid of LGBT rights. He was trying to encourage the marginalization of already very marginalized groups. So he must have changed a lot of people's opinions, but I don't know if it's for the good. I don't know if it was for the good of society.
The downfall trajectory of this country so many of us love. And I don't want to turn this into a left versus right issue because I don't think that.
Well, considering your like channel is built off of shitting on the left constantly, I do feel like you're going to try to make this a left versus right issue. Um, but I don't know, maybe I'll be surprised.
That's actually what this is anymore. I think spiritually it goes much deeper than politics. To me, this is very much about a consciousness versus ego-driven narrative or ego-driven mind-body connection. Why do these people feel the need to become violent when they disagree with somebody? Why do so many feel that death is a justified way to deal with somebody with opposing views?
So I'm gonna give my opinion. I'm not going to go too deep into this because I really don't want to talk about Charlie Kirk anymore. But of course, nobody should die because of opposing political views. Political violence is wrong, in my opinion. And sometimes I'm afraid to say that because I do feel like people are going to look at me saying that and think that I must have supported Charlie Kirk, that I thought he was a good person. Absolutely fucking not. I didn't really know much about Charlie Kirk, but from what I'm hearing, he preached a lot of terrible stuff. He was a bigot. He was a proud bigot. And he was a very selfish, unempathetic person from what I'm hearing. So this is not at all about liking Charlie Kirk or me having sympathy for him or me missing him. This is about me worrying about the idea that murder is okay if you disagree with someone or you don't like them. That is an idea that I am very uncomfortable with, and it worries me what this will lead to down the road.
One of the most common phrases that we hear from people on the left, generally, of course, maybe people on the right too, and it is to love yourself. It's a great piece of advice, but so few people actually understand what that phrase means. The great majority of these types of people are constantly looking towards the outer to heal and to love or for validation instead of looking internally.
I love how you say that this isn't a left or right issue, but as predicted, you immediately start basically complaining about the left and how I guess people on the left are constantly looking for validation from other people.
A lot of these people will yell at a lot of these people will yell at anyone who even slightly disagrees with them, or even in this case resort to major violence. And people are forgetting the very basic idea of what self-love stems from. And it comes from the self, right? It comes from the self. It comes from inside of you. And guess what? You can have your own thoughts, your own beliefs, your own morals. Still learn to coexist with others who do not have the same beliefs. Charlie recently posted this, and I want to shed a little bit of light on this idea because I think this is insanely important to talk about. He said assassination culture is spreading on the left. 48% of liberals say it would be at least somewhat justified to blank Elon Musk. 55% said the same thing about Donald Trump.
So where are these statistics being done? Like where are these surveys being done?
In California, activists are naming ballot measures after Luigi Mangione. The left is being whipped into a violent frenzy. Any setback, whether losing an election or losing a court case, justifies a maximally violent response. This is the natural outgrowth of left-wing protest culture, tolerating violence and mayhem for years on end. The cowardice of local prosecutors and school officials have turned the left into a ticking time bomb. Charlie was also quoted in the past saying this: "When we stop talking, violence begins. We need to keep dialogue open."
So I agree that of course, we do, it's good to talk to people we disagree with. I agree with that. However, a lot of bigots are not people that you can have reasonable, logical discussions with because bigotry, by its very nature, is not a logical response. Bigotry is emotion based, it is usually fear based. Fearing what you don't understand and fearing what you don't know. And this idea that bigots can be changed by having discussions with them, um, it's a well-intentioned idea, but it often doesn't translate into reality. Especially people who believe that gay people don't even deserve to exist. And they vote for people who try to make that into a reality by trying to take away gay people's rights or trans people's rights. Um, it's really hard to have a logical, rational discussion with somebody who fundamentally doesn't believe in certain people's rights to exist because they are different from them.
His honor, that is exactly what all of us still need to do. Again, to me, this is not a left versus right issue or debate.
Well, you are trying to make it a left issue, obviously, because you did include Charlie Kirk's statement, and Charlie Kirk um was making it a left issue, basically saying that the left is full of violent people who just want to hurt and murder people they disagree with. And I know your channel. Like, I know what you built your channel off of, and I do feel like you are trying to make this a left issue. You're saying you're not, but I do believe you are.
I think this comment on a recent video of mine actually nails it. Former lefty here and Bernie Bro, campaign worker. It's not about conservatives versus liberals anymore. It's about average people versus people who are ashamed of nothing, offended by everything, and refuse to contribute to society at all while demanding everything.
So this person is saying it's not conservatives versus liberals anymore, but the first sentence in their comment here is former lefty here and Bernie Bro campaign worker. So they are trying to insinuate here that liberals are people who are ashamed of nothing, offended by everything, and refuse to contribute to society. And that's why they are a former lefty. So they are trying to make it a left versus right issue. Um I do wish people would just own up to that instead of trying to be disingenuous and saying, "Oh, it's not a left versus right issue." Well, I mean, of course it is. That's exactly what you're trying to insinuate here.
From it. On another spiritual note, I do believe that Charlie did exactly what he was supposed to do in that body. And I think right now he's probably
Really? I don't know. Honestly, I mean, I feel like the opposite. I feel sad that he wasted so much of his life preaching bigotry and ignorance when he could have spent his life doing like actual good things, because I feel like he spent his life doing all of that when he could have spent his time and energy helping people.
sitting in his spirit thinking these idiot humans still don't get it. They're still fighting over ideas. They're still being violent when they disagree with each other and still hating on fellow souls who are also here to learn just like they are. The people on the left, or the ones who, in my opinion, are more unconscious or less conscious in their soul development, they have two choices right now. They can either learn from this and grow or double down. And I really do hope that the majority of them call out the extremism and say that no matter what side you're on, violence is never the answer. Charlie was put on this earth.
I agree that violence is never the answer. I think I'd like to think that the majority of people on the left agree with you, but I don't think you want to think that. You want to think that the majority of the left is full of violent people who want to murder, who want to kill. And you've built your channel off of trying to show that. So, I don't really think this is a super genuine video. And yeah.
Earth in this body for a very good reason. And the massive awareness that his existence alone brought to the world, that he bestowed upon others, is astounding, whether you agree with this guy or not. And his passing will only intensify it. Believing that that is true will help me sleep too.
Yeah, I mean, I know that a lot of the people on the right are going to make this guy into a martyr, and they already have, and a lot of them are um almost like whitewashing him and like making him out to be this hero, and they're kind of ignoring the rhetoric that he had before he died. And so that is interesting. But yeah, those are my thoughts on this video. You can probably tell that I'm not a huge fan of Arielle Scarcella. I think she is a very disingenuous person, and this video kind of shows it. But just leave your comments in the leave your comments, give me feedback. Please do not go to this person's channel and harass her. I'm just providing my honest opinions and commentary. So yeah, thanks for watching.